And we are off. We're back. Finally, with film. Uh, what did I just watch? I just watched a horrible insult of a killer clown ghost movie. It tries to rip off Friday the 13th, Halloween, and even tries to homage. It has horrible acting, horrible effects, rip-off kills that aren't even... They can't even do the kills right if they're trying to rip off the movies. This is a 2018 film. I don't know how to say this guy's last name. Mark something. It's written by Alan Wyoming. Some movies just don't need to be made. I mean, again, I did my share of horrible killer clown movies. I never thought I would get to, I never thought I would have a movie close to Creepy Clowns or Gesture. Creepy Clowns, which is a film I reviewed. It's on my BitChute channel. Maybe if I find that online, maybe I'll rewatch it and then rant on it. But that movie is horrible because it's horrible. The effects are terrible. The story is horrible. It was sort of interesting with spots, but that's video game, literally a video game graphic fight scene in a movie of a killer clown, and he kills people by tickling them to death. What? And then this movie, or Gesture, which is another film I don't care for, I don't like at all, where I think that one also at the end, I think they try to do, not video game, but they try to do like a level up thing where somebody has to have a certain sword, and you become He-Man or whatever, and then you kill the Jester. I think there was a magical horse or pony in that one as well, and it dealt with a book. The guy who played the Jester was pretty cool, but everything else was horrible. This movie, where it opens up with a montage of people dying. Literally, we have a girl who I thought was going to be the lead, kind of, but then not really, because you see her die, and then so this movie's called Ghost of Camp Blood, which is basically a ripoff of, I think it was Friday the 13th's original name, Late Night at Camp Blood, or Night at Camp Blood, or something like that. But this movie takes that name, and it has a opening kill, which is a horrible... I guess, basically, it's this girl who's running from this killer clown in the daytime, and the way she runs... she's not even running, for her life. She's supposed to be, but she's, literally lightly jogging. And he's just not even really worried. And, she falls so gently on the ground. And he's about to kill her, even though she doesn't even try to fight back. And then one guy, random guy, he knocks the killer unconscious. And the way the killer falls on the grass is so comical. Because, he falls, but, his hand... he literally... gently lays his arm on the ground, and he's supposed to be knocked out, I guess. But then they go to a car. They find a car, because I guess this is supposed to be a camp or something, or a Blackwood Forest, whatever. But they keep saying Camp Blood, but I'm like, so I guess this was supposed to be a camp site at the rep, but they don't even show the camp. They show a field, but they get in a car, they drive off. And then the clown magically is in the car, so they pull a Texas Chainsaw Massacre ending. Even though the guy... there's no way, but okay. So he's magically inside and kills the guy with the machete, then she runs out of the car. And then she trips, I think. Or no, she hides behind a tree, even though I swear he sees her. Okay, so... he doesn't see her. She hits him over the head with a stick. He falls. Then she pulls a Friday the 13th Part 4 Death of Jason, where she stabs him in the head, but then he is a ghost, so then he kills her. I forget how he kills her. Or no, he doesn't. He doesn't kill her. She laughs, and then it shows him just crawling off. Again, they're ripping off other movies, and it's like, we don't want you to really to see how bad our movie is. We're going to rip off. We're going to try to get you with homages of other movies, even though they're way superior than our movie and actors. So we never see that girl again. So I guess she survives. I was under the impression this mask is possessing people, because it seems like this but then it's a different mask at the beginning than in the movie. At the end of through the rest of the movie, it's a different mask. I swear it is. Because in that mask is, I guess the killer rummages through, or no, it's another random guy. He rummages through trash, picks up the mask, and then gives it to, I guess, the killer. And then we go to a guy, or no, then we cut to news footage of police catching the killer at, even though it's daytime and we hear gunshots, but then it cuts to black, and then it's nighttime, and then they shoot the killer, and I'm like, what? And then his mask flies off somehow, even though he hasn't moved where they shot him at. The continuity, the editing in this movie is atrocious. Atrocious. There's scenes where literally we have this other group of people, a trio of youngsters, even though really only two of them. One of them looks like Shayna Baszler. She was like, not Shayna Baszler, like a low budget, somebody else is trying to cosplay as her. Very extremely. But, like, there's these three people, this ghost paranormal team. One of them, you can tell, is like a 30 or 40-something-year-old woman, but she looks like she's supposed to be a youngster, I guess. And her acting in this movie's horrible. She was like the worst. I mean, everybody is bad in this, but her acting to where she doesn't show any, emotion in her. She doesn't emote lines out of her mouth. Like, literally, she's like, what? No. He's possessed? What? I don't even know how to I don't even know how to emulate what she did. Like, her, I don't have the talent, really, to fake that. I mean, her acting is horrible. Everybody's acting in this is horrible. I mean, the lead guy, the security guard guy, or ghost host, or whoever he's supposed to be, I guess he's supposed to be a security guard, because they're at this building, but then he also has, like, a ghost podcast thing going on, or something. He's supposed to interview, he's supposed to be, like, part of this paranormal team thing. They want to be part of it, but then he's like, but then he lets them in anyway, because they're losing ratings or whatever. And I was under the impression that this mask that's possessed, that's actually is supposed to be like a takeoff Jim Carrey's The Mask, but then not really, because it's actually the spirit of the killer from the Camp Blood or whatever. Actually, he's living inside the mask, but then the mask at one point disappears, and this guy, the host, the big bald guy, he goes around, he carries like this weird thing that looks like something from, it was like that visor thing that makes you forget from Men in Black. So he's using this to find a mask, and then it keeps cutting to this other woman who's held hostage by I couldn't tell if this was supposed to be in real time, which is now, or back, like when she was one of the victims, I guess, during this killer's reign of terror. And it does that where she's held up in a garage and she's tied up. And then I thought she died at one point, because he rips her shirt, and then you hear slashing sounds. You don't see him slashing her, but then she's still alive, and I'm like, what? And then she gets up, and then she dies, because later on he kills her anyway. She had that scene went on way too long, and it's shot in slow motion, like this guy's trying to be like Zack Snyder. I'm sorry, you're not. I don't like it in his movies either, but he does it way better. Anyway, And yeah, like the acting again, the editing is in this is horrible, horrible. I mean, talk about laziness where you use the same loop scene of somebody running up and down the steps or walking in the hallway down a straight narrow hallway, and you try to use a dissolve effect or whatever it is where they try to do it like this Matrix where he's supposed to be a ghost, so he's like phasing in and out. I'm like, why are you? And then they pretty much just downbeat ending because this. I guess the older person, the older woman of the trio was supposed to be psychic, and she dies because I guess this ghost not only can he shapeshift, but then he can also clone himself. I guess because then he kills her with two clones of him, so you use shadow clones. I guess he learned that from Naruto. Um, and then the younger guy of the one girl. There's two girls and one guy of the ghost paranormal group. The one girl, the black girl, I get she dies. Where he just stands there, sees a ghost form right in front of her, and then just stands there filming it. I guess, and then she dies because he slashes her, and the way he kills her is lame. A lot of coughing up blood scenes. I mean, there's one scene where somebody has like guts, intestine, but they look like sausage, long, blown up fake sausages that you just wrap around with. Oh, that's what they look like hot dogs or tied onto a rope or something, and wrapped around people. And the one guy from earlier that takes the mask, that finds it, and I didn't understand what his scene was because he's like on the phone with somebody like, you better give me my money or whatever or something like that. And then he turns around and he sees literally a guy. Nobody's in this room with him at first, and then the guy phases in, and then he's like, "Whoa, who are you?" Like, and then his delivery of when the killer clown raises his arm to kill him. When he's about to kill him, the guy literally cries, "No!" Maybe that's even too much emotion. He's like, "No!" This guy who's supposed to be like a criminal or whatever, his acting was horrible. Even his, like, he's supposed to be scared in that, and he's not really. And then the movie spends too much time with this killer clown who phases in and out, but yet he has to open up doors, and he can't phase through walls, but he can open doors and clone himself, and but he can't. And they kept showing that over and over again. Him when somebody was running up and down throughout the building, they have to show him the same scenes of him opening doors. This movie. I've never seen so much terrible acting in my life. Literally, I never paid attention much to. I mean, I like a lot of movies that are considered bad movies or horrible movies. To me, they're not. But this one is a horrible, horrible movie. It's, again, acted horribly wrong. Nobody gives a good performance. Even the voice of the ghost killer or whatever, his voice is like modulated and weird dialogue and weird line deliveries. The bald guy who's supposed to be like the lead because he gets possessed, and then he literally at the end all he does is he takes the mask off to kill her, even though I thought he was a ghost, and then he's supposed to be stabbing it or cutting the mask, I guess, but really all he's doing is just shoving the machete into the mask, and it's not like cutting it. It doesn't harm it, but apparently, and it kills the ghost. But then not really, because then at the end, that guy, he's like, I don't know if it's supposed to be the next day or what, because then somehow he's able to still do his show, and he has the mask and the machete, and I'm gonna still do my show, and then you know he puts the mask back on because he's like, I'm gonna show you I'm gonna contact the killer of so and so, and then he puts the mask on, and then I guess it transforms him into the killer, and then he walks towards the camera in a crappy way, and then we end the movie, and then it's like, see, that's awesome. I loved how at the very very beginning with this movie company's distribute the movie company that put this movie out. I love how epic they tried to make, like it was supposed to be like this big budgeted blockbuster horror movie, and then you see the actual quality of the movie, and then you see the editing and the acting, and yeah, that's not really the case. But yeah, again, this movie's horrible, and I would say avoid it like the plague. And that's all I have to say about that. Anyway, if you enjoyed this terrible, terrible video movie review, please give it a like and comment. If you have seen this crap movie, please give it a like, subscribe, share. And if anybody is interested in requesting movie reviews, you can join my Patreon or PayPal. But overall, I hope you guys have a good night or day or whatever. And peace and